because of my mouse is up.
Hey, I'm T.A. Charlie, and welcome to The Road to Concord with Professor Joe Bakanovic. Homeroom is on Rumble. You just go to Rumble and search the channels for The Road to Concord. It's one word. When you find it, you go ahead and you click follow. It might mean you got to set up an account, but it's fast, it's easy, it's free. I did it, you can do it. For those technologically challenged members of the class, you can also catch us on Facebook and YouTube. After the show, it's uploaded to Podbean, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and BitChute. Just look for The Road to Concord. You can go to the blog page, that's theroadtoconcord.com. That's where you'll find all your show notes, study notes, and handouts for the class. The phone is working. If you don't know how to call in, email us and we'll think about it. Finally, you can email a professor at joe@theroadtoconcord.com. He's a little slow, but he'll eventually get around to emailing you back. This show is currently mainly listener-sponsored. If you are interested in advertising your business on the show, please email us. With that said, we ask for your participation on a value-for-value basis. If you find our show of value to you, then you provide an equivalent portion of your labor and treasure through the donate link on the Road to Concord blog page, the show description on Rumble, and in the comments on the other streams. And thank you to all of you who have and will support this show.
Hello, welcome to the Road to Concord. Today is Monday, January 26, 2026. I am your host, Joe Bakanovic. I don't want to do this show today, but we're going to do it. Yes, sir.
Puppy cam.
Puppy cam. Daisy. Folks, this show is going to be a bit of a wargaming show. Like if you were in an intelligence unit or division and you're looking at things that are happening in the world and you're trying to make sense of them. No, you can't prove any of this in a court of law. But putting it all together and applying Occam's razor, where do you get? I want to start with this. This is Gateway Pundit. It says Tim Walz must resign. Now, if you're on the right, yeah, must resign. I want to ask you, why would he ever want to do that? He has now gotten away with embezzling hundreds of billions of dollars, sending it to Somali terrorists and to himself and to his friends. He's gotten away with that. He's gotten away with sedition. And he's getting away right now with leading an insurrection, an armed insurrection against the duly elected and properly seated government of the United States. And he is fighting the proper operation of the United States government. That is an insurrection. He is at war with the United States of America. And what is Trump doing? Nada. Nothing. Matter of fact, have you seen the latest stories about this? New York Post is reporting powerful House Republicans suggest Trump considering pulling ICE out of Minneapolis after the Alex Preddy shooting. And then here on the political wires, same thing, says James Comer. Oh, well, he's a rhino, Joe. No, he's a Republican. There are no rhinos. There are Republicans. And he is pushing Donald Trump to pull out. And according to MSNBC, Trump said, yep, I'm going to pull ICE out just some other time in the future. Well, folks, it doesn't matter whether he's going to pull them out now or later. If he's not going to do anything to Walz for what is an insurrection, by definition, it is the legal and dictionary and constitutional definition of an insurrection. He's going to reward them. Walz right now looks stronger than Trump, especially to his people. Walz is probably now the front runner for the next presidential election. Why would Walz want to do anything other than what he's doing? I don't understand this world anymore. I don't. I mean, I do, but I don't. I understand exactly what's happening and why. I don't understand why so many people are just falling for it the way they are. I don't get that, but that's just me. How many of y'all remember this book? This is Tragedy and Hope, A History of the World in Our Time by Carroll Quigley, published in 1966. For those of you who do not know about Mr. Quigley, he was a member of the Trilateralist Commission, and he was given access to all of their records, and he wrote this book. It's huge, thick book, man. It's like 900 pages. But essentially, he told us what's going on in the world and why and how they plan on they. He even told you who the they are. Who are the they, Joe? Nobody ever knows who. He told you. He named names. And he explained that this group of people it's a uniparty. They have created a single political party that pretends to be two parties. So the Democrats and the Republicans are left and right wings of the uniparty bird, the deep state bird, which is exactly what Woodrow Wilson said he was creating, a deep state. So they are the communist versus fascist wings of the bird. Yes, the right is fascist. Yes, the left is communist. They are exposing themselves right now. Trump's not a fascist. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. He meets the definition of fascist according to Benito Mussolini, the individual who invented the term. Now, we have gone from American political spectrum where left is full government and right was no government. We've gone from that. We've morphed back into the European spectrum where the right wing is fascist. No, it's only right wing of the ruling class, of the total government class in Europe. Well, now it applies to the United States as well. And in this book, Quigley told us what to expect. And he told us how they were going to do it. There's another book out, Tragedy and Hope Revisited. And it's written by a different author who went back and detailed. He basically took a checklist of Carroll Quigley and he said, yup, see where that happened, that happened, that happened, that happened. Oh, wow, Quigley was a prophet. No, he wasn't. Quigley took them at their word. The guy who wrote the second book, Tragedy and Hope Revisited, just honored the threat. Why can't we do that anymore? Well, before we go into my little outline for today, I grabbed a bunch of memes off of the internet. I want to share some of them with you. It might be difficult to read this one, but this is a Jacob M. Wright's post. He says, and he's quoting James O'Keefe. Now, to date, James O'Keefe, Project Veritas, the founder, he has been very good about reporting the truth. He's one of the few, quote unquote, journalists out there that I trust. Usually because he will back it up with unedited video footage. But this is a written comment. Reportedly, it's the internet, came off of Facebook. Facebook shared it from an X post. Evaluate that however you want. It says, urgent update. I've never experienced anything quite like today in my life. I've interacted with the cartel and have witnessed some crazy things in the desert in 2024. But what strikes me is how organized these agitators in Minneapolis are. They have spotters everywhere in the city and suburbs, on street corners, every 30 minutes away from downtown. They have people at hotels that work with them and signal to them, which is making it difficult for us to lose our tail once my cover was blown. Usually I lose a tail, not this time. We switched locations 3 times. I recorded and posted this while leaving Wayzata while they were still surveilling. We all agreed we must make the threats public ASAP, even if we had people still in the field with hidden cams. Earlier around noon, while at Cam Higbee released his report on signal threads, I was inside what appeared to be a fully autonomous zone. No police presence. The police were told to leave. I identified myself as Press, and they said they will kill Press and will not let me leave. My skin was fully covered because it was so cold. But because they couldn't verify who I was, they screamed and started throwing ice bottles at us. once hit somebody here, a Marine who was with me. They patted him down like they were the authorities, attempting to confiscate any weapons. They were set to destroy our vehicle before we even got to it. I will have a full video report shortly. But the bigger picture here is more important. I am angry, but not at the agitators. I find myself already angry at the people who don't understand what we're dealing with and will do nothing about it. When I go to the suburbs, I felt like I was in a simulation. I believe the American people need to wake up. This moment is a warning about where we're headed. Fear pushes people to care only about their money and their families. I get it. But when fear turns inward, when self-preservation and greed replace moral courage, evil goes unchallenged. And history shows that what we ignore today will come for all of us tomorrow. Ironically and incredibly, I see that these communists do not fear death in the same way most good people seem to. The only thing the communist fears is exposure itself. And that's good news because it may be our only option. I'm dead serious about the investigating the prosecutors themselves if they don't hold these Minnesota fraudsters and violent mobsters accountable for what they're doing. Stay tuned for the videos. Real quick, what he just described is a military, an army, not a mob, not protesters, an army. And they have taken ground and have assumed authority over that ground. That is not an insurrection. That is waging war against the United States of America. You do not send the police to put this down. You send in the United States freaking Marine Corps and you tell them, stack bodies until there are no more bodies left to stack. And you go after the people organizing and funding this. The reason they will not do so is it'll go right to the top of the government, to the top of industry, to the top of banking, to the top of the media, to the top of education. It'll topple the entire country's system because what is going on right now is by design, and Trump is a part of it. I used to wonder if he was a part of it. Now I know he is. Whether it's a willing part or not, I don't know. I know people say, Joe, these people in Congress, they're too stupid to do this. They wouldn't know how. You're right. Some of them, many of them are too stupid, but their handlers are not. Their handlers know exactly what they're doing. And that's why you don't even know their names. You don't know the handlers' names. That's by design. Trump could have easily been put in there because, well, Joe, he's just a businessman. He's not ideological. Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. So he wouldn't have sense one enough to know what the heck he should be doing right now. That's if he's ignorant. He's too stupid and too cowardly to be in this position. And yes, I said stupid and cowardly. Not that he's mentally incapacitated here, but stupid in the fact that he's ignorant of ideology, foundational political ideology. He sees everything as a business deal. That is not what's going on right now. This is a poker game. One side is trying to bluff the other. Both sides are all in. The problem is both the people at this table that are all in are on the same side. So no matter which side wins, they win. And by they, I mean totalitarians. It's just going to be a matter of are they going to be fascist or are they going to be communist? This is by FA United States Attorney Bill Esali. It says, Antifa tactics are on full display today. What you're seeing is straight from their playbook to undermine government. 1, agitate law enforcement, get in their face, spit on them, insult them. Remember Obama? Get in their face, get in their grill. That's what they're doing. 2, trigger a response and use of force by law enforcement. They're out there to get shot at. They are scouts. In the military, you send a scout out. The scout's job is to get shot at. A good scout is a dead scout. That is a military maxim. That's something that the military will, if you're in the infantry, good scouts and dead, that's what they are. They're martyrs to the cause. 3, film the use of force and publicize it out of context. 4, use mainstream media and social media to inflame the public with a false narrative. That's called propaganda. 5, trigger a riot to overthrow the government. This is exactly out of the Saul Alinsky, Machiavelli, Woodrow Wilson. This is the Communist International playbook right in front of us. And because of, thank you to the idiots in the 1960s who shut down Joe McCarthy. Have you no shame, Mr. McCarthy? He was right about all the communists. Some of them are still in our government. You're not allowed to look at the commies, just like you're not allowed to look at the Muslims. All you can look at is the conservative, law-abiding, constitutional Americans. That's by design. So they tried this last summer in Los Angeles, and it did not work. We aggressively arrested and charged violators on the spot and called in the National Guard. We restored the law and order in California at the Justice Department. We'll do the same in Minnesota. No, we won't. No, we won't. Trump is not going to do that. This happened in 2020 with Antifa and BLM. That was an insurrection. Nothing happened. We have proven to them that we will do nothing to them. When they stopped this in Los Angeles, oh crap, this stuff will work. If you know it'll work, and you have not yet done it, your inaction is by design. It is a conscious choice. You are choosing not to follow a pattern that has been proven to work, which means your inaction is the choice you want. Trump has not sent in the military on purpose. Another X post by somebody calling themselves C3. Once you realize this, the Democratic Party, no, the Uniparty. This is the problem. You think Democrats versus Republicans. It is a uniparty. They are showing you that they are working in conjunction right now. The uniparty, Antifa is the military wing. So is BLM. The judiciary is the lawfare wing. Man, if you have not been paying, the judges are refusing to prosecute the left wing for violating the laws. They're saying, nope, you can't prosecute. And they're demanding their release. Like Don Lemon, he charges a church. Oh, let him go. You can't charge him. Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, over. SPLC and ADL is the targeting wing. Legacy Media is the propaganda wing. Soros, he's just a front man. The NGOs, that is the network of financing, and they're being financed largely by you. That's where your deficit is going. That money that supposedly goes to foreign aid and all this other spending, that's going directly to the deep state. That's what's funding your deep state. And education and Hollywood and entertainment media and the music media, that's the indoctrination wing. It's this simple. And yes, this is exactly what Woodrow Wilson said he was going to do. And this is exactly what Adolf Hitler did. And Adolf Hitler said not Hitler, Goebbels, his propaganda minister, said in his diary, they got it from Edward Bernays and Woodrow Wilson. So, here's another one. This is what, let me see if I might have skipped. Nope. Okay. From the same guy, C3, another X post. He says, follow along. Democrats, no, Uniparty, cheat in the next elections without the SAVE Act to get power. Why are they going to be allowed to do this? Because the Republicans refuse to pass the SAVE Act. Republicans, see? The Republicans are playing their part. Oh, well, we don't have a very big majority, and we got a bunch of rhinos, and you got to give us a supermajority or we can't get anything passed. I give them a supermajority. Oh, well, we still got too many rhinos. Oh, it's the same old song and dance. After 30, 40 years of watching this pattern, the only conclusion I have is the Republicans are part of the Uniparty. So when the Democrats get in, they're going to nuke the filibuster, pack the courts, give amnesty to 30 million plus illegals, open the border, pass no ID laws. Dems will turn the U.S. into a one-party country forever. In other words, they will drop the scaffolding that Wilson talked about. You will have a uniparty, and the uniparty will take over. Not the Democrats, uniparty. Republicans are guilty. The Republican Party is guilty. This is what's going to happen, folks. This is Christina Aguaya News. At Democrats in Virginia introduce a bill that would allow illegal migrants to sue individual ICE agents for actions during enforcement operations. They have no standing. They're illegal. Okay, folks, let me put this in terms that'll make more sense. I'm a murderer, and you're going to give me permission to sue the police for arresting me for murder. Wait a minute, I can't say anything about rapists because they're going to legalize rape and pedophilia. Keep reading. This is at Virginia. Critics say this will prevent federal agents from carrying out deportations and detentions of illegal migrant criminals. I'm going to explain to you why this is so important to the Uniparty in a minute. Virginia's new Democratic governor, Abigail Spanger, she's the moderate Democrat, recently issued an executive order canceling the state policy that allows state and local enforcement to cooperate with ICE, including helping them detail illegal migrant criminals. Folks, that's a violation of the United States Constitution. She should be removed forthwith for that right there alone. Trump has the authority to remove her. A governor can remove an elected official in a lower position in the state government for violating the state constitution. The federal government guarantees the people of a state a representative government. That doesn't mean, or you were elected and you represent the people. No, Republican means that government must represent every individual's rights within the state. By doing this, she is violating the civil and legal, natural law, natural rights of the citizens of her state who want to be protected from these illegal aliens. She is also violating the supremacy clause of the Constitution. Trump has a constitutional mandate to remove her. He will not do it. Virginia's legislature is also restricting illegal migrants' arrests near courthouses and polling places and limited data collection. They're imposing a new 4.3% sales tax on deliveries from services like Uber Eats, Amazon, and others. They're slapping new taxes on admissions to multiple businesses and events. Higher income tax brackets at 8% for people earning over $600,000 and 10% for anyone above $1 million. Adding a 3.8, these are cumulative, 3.8% investment tax layered on top of existing state income taxes, hiking the hotel tax, introducing a personal property tax on landscaping equipment, that's your lawnmower, folks, banning gas-powered leaf blowers, forcing taxpayers to fund free education for illegal migrants, that's a violation of the right to representative government, making it a crime to approach people near abortion clinics. That's actually, you won't realize this, but that's a state mandated government. Extending the deadline for receiving absentee ballots to 3 days after an election. That's a violation of the Constitution. Allowing people to vote via the internet. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not going to be a problem. Pushing ballot curing deadlines out to a full week post-election. In other words, that's, oh, you didn't do this right. Please change your ballot so that we can count it. That's a violation of the law. Protecting political candidates' addresses from public FOIA requests, but they'll dox the federal governments. Committing Virginia to the National Populator Vote Compact, potentially overriding the state's own presidential vote. That's doing away with the Electoral College. Banning hand counting of ballots. Why would you ban a hand count of ballots? They are legalizing vote fraud. Vote and election fraud, adding a $500 sales tax on firearm suppressors, banning so-called assault weapons and large capacity magazines, both violations of the Second Amendment, applying 11% sales tax to all firearms and ammunition, forbidding outdoor firearms shooting at properties smaller than 5 acres, reducing penalties for robbery offenses. And let's keep going here. What was this? For banning arrests of illegal migrants inside courthouses, eliminating most mandatory minimum sentences for serious crimes. That also includes rape and pedophilia. Allowing localities to add speed cameras to increase revenue, and replacing Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples Day. This is coming to us. This is coming to all of you. This is coming to you. Steve Deace, one of the few last Christian voices of sanity in talk radio. Some tough love, sadly. This is one of his posts. He says, unless someone like Elon Musk were to decide to spend a few $billion to fix the Republican Party in primaries nationwide, with limited exception, we are voting for speed bumps for the foreseeable future. That's the design. This is the cost of skipping a generation of caring about a lot of things that should matter to Americans, including primaries. There arose a generation that did not know God. The globalist special interests are just too entrenched at this point and will take numerous cycles to weed out. You are not voting your way out of this, Mr. Deace, and you know that by now. I've heard you on your radio program tell me that you know we're not voting our way out of this. He's trying to sound rational. He is part of the problem at this point. He and people like him, he's trying to warn you without sounding like I do right now. That's not going to work. He's going to be ignored. He continues. And for all of the good he's done, including some very good endorsements, overall Trump's endorsement record has been maybe the most anemic of his political career, likely believing that by endorsing all these rhino incumbents, they'd return to favor, and they mostly don't and consistently betray him and us. No, he knows what he's doing. He's appointing party loyalists. The voting Republican, the part and parcel, constituency of the Republican Party says, oh, well, Trump's being fooled or he has to do. No, he knows exactly what he's doing. If he doesn't, then your man is too stupid and too cowardly to be in the position he's in or to deserve your support. That's an either or. No. If he's going to appoint rhinos thinking that they're going to be nice to him, he's too stupid to be there. He's too stupid to be there. What this is the scorpion and the frog. Scorpion says, hey, frog, swim me across the creek. No, I'm not going to do that because you're a scorpion. You'll kill me. Scorpion says, if I do that, we'll both drown. Oh, frog says, okay, well, fine. Scorpion gets on the back. Frog starts across the creek. Scorpion stings him. Frog, right before he dies, says, why do you do that? Now we're going to both die. And Scorpion says, because I'm a scorpion. That's what this is. Rhinos are scorpions. They're going to do what they do. You know that. They're Republicans. They're not rhinos. Dace continues. Now, throw in how openly demonic the Democratic Party is, and we're trapped. No, the Republicans too. They are demonic too. If you see this evil, you have the legal authority and duty to stop it, and you do nothing, you are worse than the people who are committing the evil openly. You are worse. You are a wolf in sheep's clothing. At least they are wolves walking down the street without any disguise. Day says we simply can't afford to, quote unquote, send a message any election cycles anymore. And I've been the send a message guy in the past. However, the price will be you're the next Minnesota church storming or state where your kids get medically kidnapped because you won't trans them. If you let a Democrats win anywhere, they turn it into California overnight. See Minnesota, Colorado, and now Virginia. Republicans allow it. Stop letting them off the hook, Mr. Dace. This is where we are. I regret to say so. I hate saying so. But my job as a dad is to tell you the things you don't want to hear and then help you do something about it. It sucks, but it is what it is. Thus, my generation has years of crap sandwiches to eat here, so our children and grandchildren stand a chance. It's not going to work if you keep talking like that. Here's how this works, folks. Oh, in politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I agree with him. I've learned to listen to him. So here's the deal. Let me see if I get this to work. There's how this works. The ratchet effect. Okay? Democrats turn everything to the left. You elect Republicans to take it back. And what do? They block movement to the right. They are two parties acting in unison. They pretend to be two opposition parties so that what you do is vote for one or the other. That is a way of mitigating the pressure in the country. We are not a nation that's prone to violent revolt and revolution. We are a law-abiding people, or at least we were. We were. And what this is designed to do is keep the pot from boiling over. That's how it works. More memes. This is weird that ICE are operating in dozens of states, but it only gets violent in the ones where we just uncovered $1 billion fraud ring with probable links to the governor. Do you think that we just discovered that? The Republican Party knows where all the grift is going. They know which Democrats are cheating in stock and deals and getting rich because they're doing it too. They're doing it to Mitt Romney went over to the Ukraine because he's involved in the money laundering over there. That's why Ukraine hasn't been shut down. They're defending the Western world's money laundering capital. Latvia or Lithuania or whatever the bank. Well, this has been proven. This is one of the few good things Glenn Beck's people, not him, his people did. They got a hold of the money trail, the hard documents, actual documents we can bring into a court of law to show that money, that $8 billion that Biden was going to give to the Ukrainians, $7 billion of it went to this bank. I think it was in Lithuania. And then it found its way, was it 4 or 5 billion of it? 5, I think it was, found its way back here. $1 billion went to Biden's family and $4 billion got lost in a bank in Cincinnati. The last they saw it, it was dished out to BLM. Your money is being used to fund the revolution of your country. This was proven. He gave you the documents to download. I got them on one of my computers. They can go to a court of law. They're certified. What happened? Goose eggs. Nada. That's called treason. Republicans know it. They're not going to do anything about it. Then did you see this? The Minnesota Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan is listed as an admin in the single group chat allegedly used to coordinate anti-ICE protests, doxing of agents, vehicle tracking, and mobilization efforts in the Twin Cities area. And Waltz was in on that conversation. A reporter has infiltrated it, got added to the signal chat. Allegedly. Well, let's post the friggin' chats, people. If this is true, that is treason. That is high. She needs to hang. So does Waltz. Oh, nothing going to happen with that. And then here's one posted by Benny Johnson. Picture of Waltz outside of his home. This is Tim Waltz just a few days ago. This is before the shooting. Climbed on the gate of his mansion, urging protesters to keep causing trouble and fighting ICE. That's instigating an insurrection. That's it. You arrest him. An armed man just attacked agents and got killed. See how this works? Minnesota officials are fueling this. And Republicans do nothing. That's their part. They're the lock on the ratchet. They just sit around acting like our hands are tied. No, they're not. You have the House and the Senate, and you have the constitutional and legal authority. Send in the United States military. Arrest them. Try them in military tribunals for treason. This one here is what's got all about. People are so brainwashed into the left-right nonsense by design that when someone speaks truth that doesn't align lockstep with their quote-unquote side, they assume that person is on the opposite side. This has happened to me all the time. If I point out the lies of the Republican Party and their failure, oh, I must be a Democrat. Bite me. You idiot. If you're one of those ones that has done that to me, you're an idiot. And yes, I mean idiot, because you've fallen for this mess and you do not have a voice with me. You've taken the blue pill. Oh no, Joe, I'm red pilled. You're a Democrat. Nope, you're blue pilled, baby, through and through. This level of consciousness that we are dealing with, this is it. This is by Matthew Luke. And this is me. I'm tired, boss. Mainly, I'm tired of a bunch of known corrupt traitors in government not being charged with crimes that would send anyone else to prison for life. And what am I really tired of? The American people sitting on their butts doing nothing about this. Yes, sir. I know
you might need 3 minutes to cool down.
All right, we'll take the 3 minutes. It's not going to be any better when I come back. See you in 3. I guess I'm supposedly back here. Sorry about that. I was looking at something else. I was distracted. What this comes down to is what you're seeing is something Hitler said. He said, there's no need to nationalize the industry if you can nationalize the people. The communists want to use education to change the people. They think that they can engineer human nature the same way you breed animals for certain qualities and traits. They see you as nothing but an animal. Remember what Wilson said, you and I are just the clay in his hands, the clay in which he works on. So he thinks he's a god because he's basically taking that from the Bible. So he's a god. You and I were just peons. We're the material they work on. Fascists would tell you, well, you don't have to nationalize the industry, just nationalize the people. Remember what Vladimir Lenin said, you destroy the family, you destroy the country. Well, you start destroying the family by destroying their faith, their religion. Then you destroy their patriotism. And you do that by destroying or changing their history. Remember what Michelle Obama said? Barack knows we're going to have to change our history and our traditions, et cetera, et cetera. That's what he means. And then Vladimir said you have to destroy their currency. You grind them between the millstones of taxation and inflation. Has that happened to us? Yes. Has the family been destroyed? Yes. Has our monetary base been destroyed? Yes. Why? Because independence and liberty is built on a strong, financially independent family. You cannot afford to have a nuclear family with a father and a mother and 2 to 3 children living in a house with a car in a society where dad can earn enough money for all of that and send his children to college all by himself, and mom can stay home and ensure that the children are properly raised, fed, cared for, disciplined, et cetera, et cetera. And when the children get to be teenagers, they have jobs where they can go work and earn enough money in a summer or two to actually buy a car. You cannot have that because those people are not fit to be ruled. You cannot rule over them. They're not dependent. They're not slaves. So those who want to control you, they look at that and they say, we have to destroy that. So what are they going to do? They're going to start with, they control the institutions, education, entertainment, industry, churches, government. They erode the support for the family. They start with religion and then they start in education, undermine your patriotism. What they're trying to do, one half of them trying to make you into different people. Karens. That's where you get the nut job left right now. The visible left. Those are the people that this has worked on. Those are the products of John Dewey. But others, the fascists, they don't like to wait so long. So they're going to import people. Well, Obama has been doing this too. He started this. So you have, well, Joe, get it right. Communist or fascist? Oh, no. There's a third player here that nobody ever pays attention to. There's a third player pretending to be aligned with the visible left, Islam. Barack Obama told you he was going to fundamentally transform this country. He did that by opening our borders to certain groups of people. He deported more people than Trump ever has. What he was doing was bringing in Muslims and exporting people who might cause him trouble. So he was fundamentally altering this country, and the Democrats and Republicans, neither of them have paid attention to this yet. You know, all this thing up in Minnesota with Somalis, Muslims, folks, Muslims. Think Muslim. Don't think, well, they're black African. No, think Muslim, because that's what this is really about. So they're changing the people. This is the replacement theory, supposedly a theory. It's actually true, and it's all been funded with your tax dollars. Another thing that Glenn Beck's people, his research team, proved. No doubt, proved. Did the Republicans stop it? No, they just recently voted for more funding for these type of things. The Republicans have not enforced the Doge cuts. They re-upped them. It was all a political ploy. Yeah. Look what Trump is doing. He did nothing. They voted for more of it. So I'm sorry. Trump is not your friend. So now what you have is you change the voting demographics with the influx of people, and you put them on welfare. which is against the law. If you come here, you have to prove that you're not going to be a drain on the society, on the taxpayer. That's part of our immigration process. Well, they just ignore it. It's still on the books. I looked it up. Still on the books, but we ignore it. That's Cloward and Piven. Spend us into oblivion, collapse the system. Then they get a hold of controlling the count of the vote. They don't control who you vote for. They'll let you vote for whoever you want. But if you're overseas in the military, your mail-in ballots will get lost or not counted because they didn't get here in time. But if the election is over and the wrong candidate won, well, we'll keep bringing mail-in ballots in for the next week. And you say, well, look, man, these things were all mimeographed. Nobody signed them. Oh, well, hold on. We'll go back out and we'll find the people to vote, to sign them. We'll, quote unquote, cure the ballot. And this is exactly what they got caught doing. So what did they do? I got caught stealing an election by vote counting. It's how you count it. So you have a January 6th false flag insurrection that says you can no longer question an election because of January 6th. It was an insurrection. It lets say now you cannot question an election. If you do, you go to jail. Okay, well, they still need a crisis because January 6th didn't work properly. So you need a revolt within the people. You need lawlessness and justice to push this. You're looking for what they call the Bubba effect. We're looking for the point where the decent people have been pushed past their level of tolerance. We're there for the most part. That's where you get the true insurrection. The one that's going on in Minnesota right now, the January 6th, those are orchestrated. Those are organized. Don't get me wrong. January 6th was an insurrection, but it was by the deep state. That was not MAGA that did that. That's been proven. If you don't like that, you need to go do your homework. The insurrection that's going on up in Minnesota right now, that is a legit, real insurrection, again, by the deep state. Antifa and BLM are coordinated and funded by taxpayer dollars. It's real. And the judiciary and the media are supporting it. Trump knows all this. If he didn't, he at least learned it in 2020. He supposedly has a history of going after his enemies that, stab him in the back, he gets them back. Dan Bongino, he got let go. He quit, whatever. Now he's on the radio. People, there are things going on behind the scenes I just can't tell you about. Dan, I'm sorry. You have zero credibility now. Zero, zip, nada, none. You're part of the deep state. I used to think Kash Patel was a good guy. Nope, part of the deep state. You two are liars. You're worse than all of the ones I know about today. I don't. No, you have. No. Don't trust either of you anymore. Can't. Haven't listened to Dan since he came back. I won't. The man lied to me. They know about the fraud and the corruption. They've always known. They've known that it's going to terrorists. That's because the deep state is aligned with Islam. Minnesota's coordinated. The right is blaming the Democrats. The Democrats are blaming Trump. Trump hides behind Bondi. I've asked her to arrest people. Trump, Bondi works for you. Tell her to do it if she doesn't replace her. Anybody in your administration that doesn't do the job you want them to do, it's your fault. If you can't do anything about it, it tells me that you're ineffective. You're feckless. Or you're a coward. Like I've been saying. He also hides behind rhinos. They're not rhinos. They're Republicans. I'm tired of this. Well, they're not doing what we sent them to do. They never were going to. They lie to you just like the Democrats lie to their voters, and you keep falling for it. I don't have any sympathy for you anymore, Republicans. At this point in time, my saying there are no good Nazis? I used to tell you there are no good Democrats. I am firmly believing that. But now I'm going to change that. There are no good deep staters, which means if you're voting R, you're claiming to be a good Nazi. It's all a game, setting a stage for the final takeover. It's just to decide, is it going to be socialism, some form of socialism, or communism? And the one they forget is Islam. They're forgetting Islam. Now, what we're seeing is Woodrow Wilson's deep state revolt. The Constitution in the American country, the country that we know as America, is dead. We no longer have a country. It's time for the Jefferson option, but we don't have the necessary prerequisites for that. We don't have an established government, and we don't have morally based leadership to lead us in another Declaration of Independence. It's not going to happen. So here's what I want to show you next. This is, from what I just explained to you, this is what's in the headlines. Minneapolis police chief claims it does not matter if an investigation proves the ICE shooting was legally justified. Still wrong. That's a police officer saying even if it was justified, they don't care. He's no longer a police officer, folks. He's no longer serving he's not enforcing the law. Signal chat infiltrated by conservative journalists reveals Democratic politicians and former Tim Walz staffer orchestrating anti-ICE protests and doxing of agents. That is waging war against the American people. It's all illegal. Here's another one. George Floyd redo? Thousands of anti-ICE rioters set up autonomous zone after Minneapolis police retreat. Folks, if you set up an autonomous zone, what you have actually done is seized by force a piece of territory. That is waging war on the American people. That's treason. You don't arrest those people. You stack them. When you don't do that, you're giving them a green light to do it again. There's only two reasons for that. Cowardice, or you want this to happen. Any other reason falls under cowardice. You have a job. You were elected to stop things like this. If you don't want to do your job, resign. Self-described Antifa general in Minneapolis calls for people to join him in armed uprising after federal agents neutralize alleged gun-wielding agitator. Say, well, Joe, that's just a coup. No. He's wearing paramilitary garb. He is in an Antifa uniform. He is working for an organized organization that is funded and organized by people within the government at a state and federal level. He is a member of the insurrection. He's a militant. And since that's a uniform he's wearing, Antifa all seems to dress like this. This guy should not be dismissed. For all you know, he's telling you the truth. But you honor the threat. Shocking video. Federal officers attacked and tackled by violent Minneapolis rioters. This is after the shooting. This is after that guy told people to go after him. That is an armed insurrection. You don't arrest them. You shoot them in the street. From Just the News, John Solomon. Walz activates National Guard after armed man fatally shot by federal agents in Minneapolis. And if you read the story, he has told the National Guard to go help the police resist ICE. That is an act of war. We are in the Civil War. One side refuses to fight it. Joe, you're advocating. No, I am not. I'm not advocating it. I'm saying either get in the fight or you've already surrendered. It says, watch. Deranged Arizona Attorney General threatens ICE, encourages leftists to shoot and kill agents. She says, we have stand your ground law. You can defend yourself with lethal force. So if you are an illegal alien, you're illegal. And ICE comes to arrest you, do their job. You're supposed to shoot and kill them in self-defense. That right there is treason. Nothing happened to her. It's happening up in the Northwest as well. Because Trump won't do his job. This is all at the feet of Trump. You wanted the job there, Donald. Do it. This story, pay close attention. Poisonous left-wing podcaster Jennifer Welch reveals what Democrats will do when back in power. And she's telling you what they're going to do. Basically, they're going to put all of us in jail. No, they won't. Oh, New York Governor Kathy Hochul calls for Noem to be fired and vows to hold Trump administration officials, quote unquote, accountable once they leave office. They're telling you they're going to put you in jail. But the Republicans will save us. Rhino senator. He's not a rhino. He's a Republican. Do we call Fetterman a dino? When Fetterman opposes his party, do we call him a dino? No, we don't. Because he's a Democrat. This guy's a Republican. He demands an investigation into ICE, denounces their incredibly disturbing campaign in Minnesota. That man's committing treason. From the Blaze Media, Trump's primary endorsements are sabotaging his own agenda. He should be grooming reform governors and senators for 2026 and beyond. Instead, he's locking the party into the same people who never deliver. That's a choice. That's a conscious, intentional, deliberate choice. So if he's nominating rhinos, Trump's a rhino. AG Pam Bondi, she's going to take care of this. She sends a strongly worded letter to Minnesota Governor Tim Walz. What are we supposed to do against the insurrection? Use harsh language? Well, apparently that's exactly what we're doing. Remember, Trump's behind that. If he wanted more, he'd get more. He's not doing that. He'll threaten military to take Iceland or Greenland or whatever the heck it is, but he won't use the military to defend the American people. What we have now is a two-tier justice system. Conservative journalist Caitlin Bennett charged and fined for interviewing Democrats in public, while Don Lemon storms churches with zero consequences. She exercised the First Amendment. Don Lemon and crew broke it. She gets charged and fined. He gets set free by a judge. Your courts are so broken that you no longer have and your government is so broken, you no longer have a country. The federal government is far worse than King George ever was. And what are we doing? We're still pretending like we can save it because we have this nostalgic attachment to the United States of America. You're trying to save a dead horse. Now, President Trump signs historic executive order to bring back mental institutions and insane asylums. Hate to build those suckers, but you've got to get the people off the streets. Do you know how, Charlie, jump on here with me real quick. How's this going to work with the red flag laws that the left wing's going to push?
Yeah.
You do know that we can
away.
Oh, hee hee ha ha. And we can put you in these institutions against your will without due process.
That's right. Because you're a religious zealot, so you're a danger to society. You're a domestic terrorist. So therefore you need to be in an insane asylum.
Joe's crazy, right? Now, what if I told you?
You are.
What if I told you that there was a former Democratic president who was aligned with people who said that they would put their political opponents in camps, much like an insane asylum, once they took over? Would any of this start making a little more sense if we knew that had happened in the past in America? Would this make a little bit more sense?
Sure. Yeah.
Like Barack Obama in the Weather Underground with that FBI informant who said that's exactly what the Weather Underground said they were going to do with those Republicans who refused to do what they were told.
Yeah.
And Barack Obama, he's not out there fanning the flame. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah, he is. He's fanning the flames in Minnesota. Well, he's not in government anymore. Who the heck do you think was running the government under Biden?
Yeah.
Trump is the one who's mentally incapacitated, and the same people telling you that Trump is insane were the ones still telling you that Biden's perfectly as sharp as he's ever been in his life. Let me ask you folks, in all seriousness, how many more lies are you going to put up with? Are you just going to sit there and you're going to just complain and whine until the country's gone? Well, it's already gone.
It's already gone.
It is. Elon Musk, just hang on there, Charlie. Let's share this. Elon Musk, January 25th. It's time to invoke the Insurrection Act.
Yeah.
I guess that man's just too stupid to know what he's saying, right? He's got nothing to lose in what he's saying, right? The left has already told him they're going to put him in jail. Elon's out there telling you, if we don't stop this, I'm going to jail. I'm going to lose everything. He's told you that. Well, he can afford to flee the country. Where's he going to go? I can only think of I can only think of one place where he's going to be. Well, there's actually two places. Do you know who's supporting and defending Christianity more than the United States of America right now on the global stage? It's going to shock you. Who do you think it is? You'd never believe this. It's Russia. Inside Russia, even Dugin, Alexander Dugin, part of his goal is to save the faith, the Orthodox Christian faith, Orthodox Russian Christian faith. Yep, right there. Quest had it. It's Russia. Putin has told his people internally that they have to save the faith from the West.
Wow.
Folks, we're in trouble. I'd lead it. World wouldn't listen to me. I have no voice. I'd be happy to lead this. I'm not a John Adams. I'm not a Samuel Adams. I'm not a George Washington. But I have had lefties tell me that I'm a Patrick Henry. And if you've read much of Patrick Henry, I see it. I see it. Political firebrand guided entirely by the Bible. It blends the two seamlessly. Yeah, I could see Colin. I'll be happy to do that. Let me see if I can put this right for you. Why stand we here idle?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because if we do anything, they might come and take away what little we have. Oh, that got a man hung on a cross one time, didn't it?
Yeah.
I can think of some founding father quotes that would tell all of us right now to go home and lick the hand of the one who puts chains on us. And they are going to forget we ever called ourselves their countrymen. They'd be ashamed of us. Folks, have you read about the Insurrection Act and the almost disillusionment of this country that it caused back then? It was because we were talking bad about a president. Just for talking bad about him. I think it was John Adams. What do we do, Charlie?
Well, the way I see it is the only thing we can do is to take care of the reflection in the mirror and then rely on Yahweh to take care of the rest. Because I don't see this country turning this around. I mean, it would take a Nineveh-like event in this country to turn it around, and I don't see that happening. And it's not because I don't believe it could happen. I believe that that's not what's in the cards.
And Nineveh just repented for a while. They were eventually destroyed.
Yeah. And so we're under judgment. It's going to come. But if we're taking care of the reflection in our mirror and we are, living our lives according to the way Yahweh wants us to live, then He will provide a way for us.
Would you answer that question for Bupa?
I wonder why this is happening to all white Western nations. This isn't happening in China, South America, Africa, and the list goes on. You need to join us on Friday. We're going to be starting a book study called Judah's Scepter and Joseph's Birthright, and that'll explain exactly why this is happening, Bupa. So please join us on Friday.
It's got nothing to do with white. It has everything to do with religion.
Yes.
Yes. I have got to put a paywall up because, man.
Yeah. And that's on We Who Are Lost, not the Road to Concord. So if you're looking for the show, look for We Who Are Lost on any of the platforms we stream on.
All right. Right there. There was the answer to that one right there. They are replacing the white Western Europeans because we are the Israelites. Yes.
Yep. Oh, yes. Oh, that's a new user.
Not the Jews. Not the Jews.
We're
the Israelites, the house of Israel. Yes.
Yep.
And when we read Judah's Scepter and Joseph's Birthright, you'll see it in your scriptures. And there are a couple of books that I can recommend later that you can trace it genealogically and archaeologically.
Yep. Geographic. Yep.
Yep. We know.
Yep.
All right. Let's wrap this one for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be in the second half of second show in our precursor to Genesis. And then we're going to do a show a week from tomorrow where we're going to talk about the Bible. And it's not going to be this is why I trust the Bible thing. No. We're going to actually set up a logical argument for the Bible. We're going to go through a bunch of assumptions and a bunch of propositions. And we're going to set up our study for Genesis going forward. And then 2 weeks from tomorrow, we're going to start with Genesis 1:1. And hopefully by then my head will be back in place, because I was reading the argument for St. Thomas Aquinas and Creation ex nihilo yesterday, and I had to strain to remember my advanced logical notation because it was using the advanced logical formulas that I haven't played with for like 40 years. But they made it more complicated than it needed to be. We'll get at all of that. Wednesday, I'm not sure what I'm going to be teaching. It'll come to me. This Thursday, just a few days from now, we're going to be second chapter of or the first chapter after the introduction, second chapter of the Bible Amongst the Myths. That is not so much a scripture study as it is a philosophy study, a political philosophy study that's going to go hand in hand with what's happening right now. There's a reason I'm teaching that book. If you want to understand, it's a biblical worldview, but it's a material world explanation for what's happening and why. You need to stick with this book study, because when you're done with it, you will be able to evaluate just about any. Charlie, how fast can you sort through something that you see in the news now that you've read that book?
Oh, split second now.
And how fast can you sort religious believers now that you've read that book?
Oh yeah, it's like you sent me some stuff that we're working on the other day, and immediately as I was reading one of the articles, I'm like, oh, I see where they're coming from. And boom, it was locked in and done. And so I'm like, whoo, that's interesting. And I was looking at something else too.
So you're just an arrogant. I'm like, oh,
that's from this way. Yeah.
You're just an arrogant know-it-all. You didn't even give them a chance to make their point.
They already made their point. So
and they didn't realize it. See, welcome to my world.
Yeah.
You'll be able to do it too.
It's kind of scary in some ways, but it's so easy once you figure this out and apply this. It's like, yeah.
Yeah, you want to stick through the shows that we're doing on Thursday.
Yes.
You want to stick through them.
And we're going some places that, and we're going to be getting into some deep stuff, and I'm thinking about Hebrew and how I'm going to explain, at least to a very, very high level, grammar and stuff in Hebrew without, totally getting Joe's eyes to glaze over. But because I was talking about that this morning, I was talking about compensatory lengthening and gutturals and stuff like that. And he's like, what did you just say?
And I'm going to have you at some very high level philosophical discussions too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to have you all up in St. Thomas Aquinas. And if you've never read him, he was an excellent Christian philosopher.
Yeah.
So this is, and I've got to figure out how to explain it in terms that the average person is going to, I'm not saying understand, but in terms that you'll grasp and comprehend. So I'm not trying to talk down to anybody. It's just, I'm used to using language that it'd be like if we started talking total military jargon. Some of you would be able to grab some of it. Some of you, we would be like, what language are they speaking? Okay. Cause be a lot of acronyms that you've just never heard before. Well, that's the problem when you talk to a philosopher that's gone through philosophy school. We use terms that, doesn't necessarily understand. One of the ones here that we have explained, when I say necessary, you probably have one idea. Charlie, when I say necessary now, you stop and you go, okay, is he talking colloquially or is he talking philosophically?
Right.
Because it means something very different when I say by definition. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, it's just what the dictionary means. Oh no. It means something very specific in my world.
Yeah.
So.
And we're going to be, the name of our playlist for this is What You Thought You Knew About Genesis. We are going to be looking at Genesis from a totally different perspective than you've ever seen before. We could be wrong. It's possible. We could be wrong, but if you put this in, I mean, as I'm studying this and getting deeper and deeper into it, I'm like, oh yeah, we're onto something, because I was just studying some stuff that Joe sent me yesterday, and I'm like, oh, this just solidifies it. It's just putting it in there, and okay, yeah, it's all fitting in there, and stir it up, and oh, this is
We're
tasty.
excited. This is going to be an interesting spring.
Yeah.
All right, let's get out of here. I hate shows like this, folks. I really do, because I did not know about Yeah, he too. I did not know about the story that Trump was considering pulling ICE out of Minnesota until like half hour, 40 minutes before the show started. And when I was told, I was like, well, makes perfect sense to me. That just confirms what I'm doing here, what I'm arguing. If you've ever seen the show that we did on velocity vectors, I use that for analysis of the world around me. I use that concept, velocity vectors. We use it in logic. You also use it in intelligence analysis and analyzing intelligence. And right now, all the velocity vectors I see are all pointing in the same direction. We're being played. And the question is, are we being played by a group of men and women, people, human beings? Or are we being played by spiritual forces? And if you asked me, I'd tell you the answer is yes. What? Which one is it? Yes. Several groups of people opposing each other, mainly because they have different ideas of how to achieve their goal. All of them being pushed by spiritual forces that are very similar. Those spiritual forces are in different camps with arguing and fighting amongst themselves on how to achieve their goals. That's biblical. That's biblical. So we'll see how it goes. But right now, anyway, we who are lost, creme brulee, got a post up there. Comment on the board right before we leave here. Let me see if I can find it. My system is not behaving really well. Where'd that one go? Yeah. Yeshua said, I can, but for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. And he said, sheep of the house of Israel. It's we who are lost. Well, that's why we named the other show, We Who Are Lost. You will never find in the New Testament, lost refers to those who used to belong and then are lost. They wander away from the way, the path. And you will even find references to that in the Old Testament as well. Lost is not those who have never believed. Lost is those who have once believed and then were either divorced by Yahweh or have wandered from the path. The prodigal son is probably a reference to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So, yes. Cream brulee, 1, 2, 3, you're in good company here. We understand. We love all of y'all. Thank you for being here, for putting up with me today. I'm going to be mopey the rest of the day now. I don't like these shows, but I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and hopefully we'll see you all then. And if not, the next time we see you, remember Wednesdays and Fridays are our scripture specific days on We Who Are Lost. Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, the Road to Concord. Right now we're dealing with apologetics, but it goes back to that road that led man to the Lexington Green and Concord. The declaration of that's prophecy. When you understand what we're going to be reading on Friday, a week from this Friday, when we start on February 6th, The Scepter and the Birthright, that is literally a book about the Road to Concord, and it is in your Bible. And Lexington Green in the United States of America is in your Bible. There's a prophecy about that. It's just spiritual. It's teaching spiritual truth, not physical. And because you're looking for the physical and not the spiritual, you miss it. And it's right in front of you. And there are many prophecies about it. And we'll show it to you. We'll study that. So that's the Road to Concord. Whether you know it or not, it's as biblical as We Who Are Lost. It's just more apologetics, more the Bible in the real world, in history of man. Here it is in your face. This is where we lived it. We Who Are Lost is the theology. This show has now found its voice and its place, and we are proceeding on mission. Boopa 73. I have given up on politics, faith, and scriptures only. Yes, but your scriptures tell you that you have to be involved in politics. Teaching the gospel, preaching the kingdom of Yahweh is a thoroughly political endeavor. Spiritual politics. You just have to put your mind in the right frame of mind. Think spiritual first. Act physical until you're called home. We love you. We'll see y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye.